Welcome to the I-24 News Desk. I'm Eliot Coe with the latest on what's happening around the world. U.S. President Donald Trump gave his opening address to the 193-seat UN General Assembly in New York today. During the short speech, his first to the United Nations, Trump praised the work of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and said that because of him, the UN is changing fast.
In recent years, the United Nations has not, and it is our job to show it to them.
Also in New York, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met a short time ago with President Donald Trump. I-24 News senior diplomatic correspondent Nina Larson joins us from New York. Nina, what can you tell us about the meeting?
Well, it was behind closed doors, Eliot. It was at the Palace Hotel right here in Manhattan, right behind me right now.
Okay, we'll keep following that. And joining me in the studio now, thanks a lot, Nina, from New York. Joining me now in the studio to discuss the latest meeting between the two leaders is Owen Alterman, our senior international affairs correspondent. Hi, Owen.
Good evening.
So what's your take on the meeting?
Well, listen, as Nina mentioned, I see him on the world stage making Israel's case.
You know, I had a bet in the newsroom earlier saying, I was saying that Trump was going to be short and to the point. Other people said he was going to go long. I won that bet, but I'm wondering, what do you think is going to happen in the UN Assembly tomorrow? Netanyahu going to have another one of those big bombastic speeches, or?
From Herzliya, this is Eliot Coe reporting for Israel National News TV.
Weather in Israel has been unseasonably cold, with sub-zero temperatures recorded in several parts of the country. Unfortunately, no rain is in sight.
At the Jerusalem conference, where I have the pleasure of sitting with Professor Uzi Arad, who is a well-known figure here in Israel. He is a director of the IDC in Herzliya, also the founder of the famed Herzliya conference. Hello. Thanks for joining us.
Knesset Rabbi Benny Elon of the National Union Party has come up with an alternative solution to the conflict, and he is employing a unique means of promoting his vision. Rabbi Benny Elon, shalom. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Shalom.
You've created a movie trailer to promote your Israel initiative. Let's take a look so our audience can see it as well.
It's Sunday evening, Herzliya, shady suburb here, and unfortunately we just saw a number of talks that were supposed to be given about what really happened, or another version of what really happened on the night of Rabin's murder. Unfortunately, the hall that was supposed to hold this was closed down. The 150 or so people were greeted by police. Welcome back. You're tuned to Israel National News TV and Israel National Radio, a simulcast of election night. I'm Eliot Coe. With me is Yishai Fleischer and former member of Knesset Michael Kleiner. We're going to give you a quick rundown. The three main television stations published the exit polls. Eliot Coe here. We're standing in the magnificent city of Tzfat, the ancient city. You can maybe see some of the backgrounds here and all that. It is a couple days of the annual Klezmer Festival. Klezmer is like the traditional Jewish bands, some say an early form of jazz even. I can tell you, I've never seen Tzfat this full of people, and I really recommend you to pay a visit to Tzfat. And if you're out of the country, make sure you get to Israel soon. So, a 100-year conflict is a little bit difficult to solve in 5 minutes, but we'll try and give it a good go. Ezrat Hashem, Bismillah, in the name of God. This is number 11 in the first series, I think. For every argument, there's a counter-argument. Every opinion, another opinion. There's no end. We've been talking for years and years and years. The question is whether we want to get somewhere, whether we want to get down, be practical, and solve the main issues. There is no political solution to the problem.
One day, a student by the name of John, who is a new immigrant, asked to learn Hebrew quickly before going into the army. Ayala realized that this time a different method would be needed. Rather than teaching him a large vocabulary as in the past, Ayala decided to try another approach, which, much to her surprise, worked even better. The approach, which is now known as the Moses method, was to focus on teaching him the foundations on which most words in Hebrew are built, namely the patterns and roots. Her assumption was that, in the future, it would help him master words he'd never encountered before. The alternative, which meant going over all the words, wasn't feasible because time was too short. As the famous saying goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach him to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. That's exactly what Ayala did.